Introduction to the movie Dreamcatcher, released in 2003. Dreamcatcher is an American science fiction horror movie based on the novel by Stephen King of the same name. The film, directed by Lawrence Kasdan and co-written by Kasdan and William Goldman, narrates the story of four friends experiencing an invasion of bizarre parasitic aliens. The movie was released in 2003, where Thomas Jane, Jason Lee, Damian Lewis, and Timothy Olyphant played the four friends. The film received negative feedback from critics, while the audience gave a more mixed response, but the movie grossed $75.7 million against the budget of $68 million. The film, considered an underrated adaptation of the Dreamcatcher novel, started off as an exciting plot of friends sharing a telepathic gift, and ended as a monster invasion movie. Let us first dig into the story.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The movie Dreamcatcher explained. Henry, Beaver, Pete, and Jonesy were four friends headed to their annual hunting trip in, of course, Maine. A flashback to their childhood reveals that they had saved a mentally challenged boy with Down syndrome named Douglas Duddits Cavill from bullies and became friends with him. Following the incident, they had acquired a telepathic gift, which they called the Line. Also, 6 months before the trip, Jonesy, while crossing the road to meet Duddits, was hit by a car. His injuries healed fast though, and he was able to join the remaining friends for the annual trip. During the trip, Jonesy rescued a man named Rick McCarthy who was lost in the forest. As he was quite ill, Jonesy and Beaver brought him to their cabin to help him recover. Suddenly, all the animals were seen running past their cabin in particular direction, indicating that they were all scared of something unfamiliar. 2 helicopters were seen following the animals while announcing that the area was under quarantine. While Jonesy and Beaver returned to their cabin, they found a trail of blood from the bedroom to the bathroom. They followed the blood trail and found Rick sitting awkwardly on the toilet, which was now covered in blood. On pushing Rick, he fell dead into the tub, revealing a 3-foot-long lamprey-like creature that was wriggling and screaming in the toilet. Beaver tried to trap it under the toilet lid, but the queer lamprey-like worm broke out of the toilet and instantly slaughtered Beaver. While Jonesy tried to escape, he confronted another alien called Mr. Gray, who was able to possess Jonesy's body and emitted a red dust-like cloud around the cabin. Not too far away, Henry and Pete were able to run over a frostbitten lady, but they maneuvered the SUV and crashed it at the nick of time. The lady was from the same hunting group as Rick, who was already dead. As Henry went to get help, Pete stayed with the ill woman, but the woman died, and just like Rick, excreted a worm, which Pete somehow managed to kill. Mr. Gray kidnapped Pete by deceiving him, but Jonesy warned Henry with telepathy to stay hidden from Mr. Gray. When Henry returned to the cabin, he found Beaver killed while the alien worm was laying eggs. Henry set fire to the cabin to destroy the alien and its eggs. Meanwhile, a particular military unit considered an expert in alien matters wanted to restrain everyone exposed to the extraterrestrials. The unit was led by a slightly demented Colonel Abraham Curtis. He had planned to retire after that operation while passing his command to Captain Owen Underhill, his close friend and second-in-command. They led an airstrike in the forest where the alien spaceship had crash-landed. Though the aliens claimed mercy through telepathy, the helicopters shattered the aliens with miniguns and missiles. Without an option, the spaceship self-destroyed, killing the remaining aliens. Meanwhile, Mr. Gray tried to force Pete to cooperate with him, but he killed Pete by biting him in half after his denial. Jonesy realized that Mr. Gray had possessed him to access his past memories of Duddits. Eventually, Henry arrived at the military concentration camp and learned that Colonel Curtis had planned to kill everyone in quarantine. Henry somehow convinced Owen Underhill to prevent the mass killing and tried to contact Jonesy by using Underhill's pistol as a phone. Henry and Underhill left the camp and reached Duddits' home. Duddits, who was dying of leukemia, disclosed that Mr. Gray actually was headed for the Quabbin Reservoir, the leading water supply reservoir, and release alien larvae into it. Curtis tracked down Henry and Underhill with a microchip in Underhill's pistol. At the reservoir, Underhill was extremely wounded by Curtis's helicopter and died shortly after shooting Curtis. In the reservoir's pump house, Henry used Underhill's machine gun and killed Mr. Gray's alien worm, but he was in a dilemma to confront Mr. Gray as he had possessed Jonesy's body. Duddits consequently confronted Mr. Gray, compelling him to exit Jonesy's body. While they struggled, Duddits revealed that he was an alien of another race. The two aliens finally exploded into a cloud of red dust, which closely resembled a Dreamcatcher. Jonesy finally returned to his body and killed the final alien larva before it could contaminate the reservoir.
Lord, I will never drink again.
Parasitic alien macrovirus, the Ripley explored. The Ripleys, who are also known as Virus in the novel, are fictional parasitic alien macrovirus appearing in the leading antagonist of the Dreamcatcher film as well as the novel. The adult aliens appeared like a disfigured serpent-like beings with legs, while the younger aliens were smaller, eggless versions of them. The younger versions were also called shitweasels, as they could be created in the host's stomach while coming out after digesting the host's body between the stomach and the anus, killing the host instantly. This is how Rick and another lady from his group died in the movie. In both adult and young aliens, the slit of the mouth covered the entire length of the body and revealed hundreds of razor-like teeth capable of biting through steel. An interesting fact about the aliens was that both the adult and young aliens were capable of immediate asexual reproductions, laying groups of eggs. When the eggs hatched, they yielded baby aliens who were as dangerous as adult or young ones. This capability would expedite their infestation over the planet, which is their primary motto. Another engrossing fact about Ripleys is that they not only possess telepathic capabilities, but also transfer this ability to those surrounding them. The concept of telepathic powers in the aliens has often been used in sci-fi movies, as in the 1996 classic Independence Day, or even E.T. the Extraterrestrial by Steven Spielberg in 1982. The Ripleys were also known to manipulate the minds of the people around them. The Ripleys used these telepathic powers to appear as Greys, which gave them the typical gray alien look we're used to seeing from E.T. The Greys had pus-like skin, and they were found to explode into red dust-like clouds, either before death or in an attempt to be contagious. In Dreamcatcher, the gray alien who appeared before Jonesy exploded in the red cloud to infect him, but was unable to do it, as Jonesy already possessed the telepathic power gifted by his friend Duddits and was immune to the viral infection. Thus, Gray possessed his body to begin their process of infesting the rest of the world. Ripleys are therefore quite intelligent as compared to some aliens known to us who are only keen to destroy without intelligence. The Ripley is capable of manifesting very quickly by infecting any person, and once the parasitic infestation is complete, there is no way to prevent the formation of the parasitic macrovirus and the eventual death of the host when it forces out of the body. Their bodies are covered with a mucus-like substance to protect them from the secretions of the host's stomach. The mucus becomes viral with the contact of the surface and gets easily transmitted. The Ripleys appear stronger than humans in every aspect, especially physical strength, as it was seen that even a newborn Ripley managed to overpower Beaver and used its razor-like sharp teeth to slaughter him instantly. But they succumb to almost everything that is intended to kill any human, and they are especially uncomfortable in the cold, compelling us to assume that they originate from a warmer planet. Their target was to infect the leading water supply reservoir of the area and convert the town people into their hosts as they land into their stomach through the drinking water and then expanding their race to the remaining humanity.
Look out, Jonesy.
Differences between the book and the movie. When a feature film is adapted from a novel, the detailing is always curtailed for obvious reasons, sometimes to apprehend the concept properly. Some deep diving into characters becomes mandatory. This was realized when the 2001 novel Dreamcatcher was rewritten by Lawrence Kasdan and William Goldman for the screenplay. The film surely reveals the flashback of the four friends meeting with Duddits, a child with Down syndrome, saving him from bullies and befriending him. His return gift to them was the telepathic power that bound them together for their entire life. Their whole life details have been scrapped to make room for heavy action. The strong characters of Henry and Jonesy in the novel were streamlined in the film, rendering them ordinary, and the audience was not able to care about them enough. One of the weakest facts of the novel was the way Jonesy locked himself in the Tracker Brothers depot in his memories, and carefully hid the memory files. This concept is brilliantly handled in the screenplay, as in the early part of the cinema Jonesy shared with his friends his ability to maintain a warehouse of memories containing a secret drawer for storing his secrets. Colonel Curtis, known as Colonel Abraham Kurtz in the novel, was portrayed by the famous actor Morgan Freeman. His personality had also been altered by Kasdan and Goldman. From being characterized as a caricature of a bad political cartoon, he had been presented as a psychotic military commander. His mania of a strict leader is divulged when he shot a soldier for releasing a woman and her 4-year-old daughter. Although he is not presented as the film's main antagonist, his vengeful nature and lack of conscience had been a constant source of an obstacle for the protagonists. The character of Duddits in the movie is similar to that of the novel. Andrew Robb portrayed young Duddits, with Donnie Wahlberg portraying adult Duddits, featuring the characters quite well. But sadly, like the other characters, their roles were also underdeveloped. Even Duddits did not kill Mr. Grey in the actual story, but it was Henry who achieved victory over Mr. Grey. The closeness between him and the 4 friends was not disclosed in the screenplay. In the film, there was a scene where Duddits constructed a Dreamcatcher that linked the 4, which was not used in the novel. But any questions related to this link remained unanswered in the movie. The novel by Stephen King emphasized the chase for almost the last third of the book, which is supposed to be the thriller's climax. The chase sequences in the film were quite dull compared to that of the novel, which was rather disappointing. The fact that Curtis is relieved from his command by a general and his compliant surrender were hardly appropriate. But whatsoever, the movie is interesting and thrilling that makes it worth watching or reading. Dreamcatcher, the most underrated Stephen King adaptation. Author Stephen King has been proudly scaring us with his horror novels for decades. From Carrie, released in 1976, there have been more than 60 films made from his novels, notable ones including The Dead Zone, 1922, The Shining, It, and many more, though not all of them are horror movies. Unfortunately, Dreamcatcher is the most underrated adaptation of his novel. The film closely adapts to the plot of the novel with minor changes, some of them mandatory for any transition from written to movie. The movie version strongly adhered to childhood friendships, overcoming fears, and protesting against bullies. The power of telepathic communication, which formed the base of the concept of Dreamcatcher, gifted by Duddits, could not be elaborated due to the short span of the film, but it did not hurt the plot of the film. The movie also adhered to the portrayal of 4 protagonist characters as adults. Henry became the natural leader, taking all the necessary steps to exterminate the aliens against the wishes of Colonel Curtis. Jonesy contributed to slaughtering the last alien larva before it could contaminate the water supply reservoir, helping Henry all the way with his telepathic powers. Pete and Beaver, although they succumbed to the aliens, showed their fearless characters to encounter the foreign parasitic alien worms. Apart from slight changes, the film successfully followed the novel quite well compared to other adaptations. The film respected the twists of the plot, the important features of the characters, but remained underrated as compared to other films adapted from novels of Stephen King. Dreamcatcher deserves a reboot. Dreamcatcher is one of the large novels of Stephen King that required a reboot in television series format. Starting with the startling memory warehouse concept, childhood memories of 4 friends helping a child with Down syndrome, attaining the power of telepathy as a gift from the child, military government conspiracies, and the invasion of parasitic aliens are a lot of situations to be handled at once in a movie. The flow of the story is bound to be hurt while shortening the source story for a movie runtime. This issue can be resolved with the expanded runtime for an entire television season. Stephen King penned this novel while he was recovering from an accident in 2003, and King has admitted the experimental output of this novel might have been due to the painkillers he was consuming. The longer runtime in television would encourage explaining the offbeat elements of the novel, with each episode dedicated to a conspiracy or disclosing each character's perspective. Dreamcatcher is an elaborate novel that demands lots of explanations that could not be satisfied in a film. A long version of Dreamcatcher would definitely do justice to the complicated storyline of the novel instead of cramming it for the sake of one incomprehensible movie.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.